Well, it's kind of different, right?
Sorta. Yeah, it is, I guess.
Monetize with ads. That's what I want to do. We're live now, Hopkins, by the way.
Okay, I got a live thing on here, so we're
So
good.
you can't talk anymore of your crazy shit
All right.
about the hookers or the guns and the drugs or whatever that shit you were talking about.
Being an arms dealer, a foreign arms dealer.
Did you see that movie, Nicolas
Yes.
Cage? What
It's
a
pretty
piece of
good,
shit that
actually.
was.
Whatever, dude. That movie was good.
Nick, we need a ruling. Have you seen that, Lord of War?
Yeah, I found it entertaining.
Yeah.
I don't know
I'm
how
outvoted.
true
Damn
or
it!
advanced it actually is. I mean, I was entertained by it.
If it's on, it's entertaining to watch, and I'll watch it, you know?
I thought the first half was sort of entertaining. After that, it was just sort of sad and dumb.
Well, yeah, they tried to make a point, which they didn't need to do.
No one wants to see that stupid shit. They just want, like, Nicolas Cage to sell guns. I don't even think people want Nicolas Cage was not part of the equation for anything entertaining there, actually. Now that I'm really thinking about it. I think the trailer was better than the movie.
Like
Now
the
that I'm
first
really
minute of the
back.
show where they show the bullets, like, going around.
No, I mean
how
like
they're
the
made.
trailer.
That's the trailer, isn't it?
I don't know. I don't remember the trailer.
Oh, okay.
All right. Welcome to the Practical Pistol Show, everybody. We're here to talk about shooting, answer shooting questions, all that stuff. On deck today, Nick Antola
I guess.
is here. Matt Hopkins is with us in spirit and voice only.
Hi.
Not so much in video. Hopkins, you are en route to
I'm
a match.
I'm on the road to Cowtown.
It's amazing.
Yep.
I want you to give Mr. Myers a what for at that match. Just smash him hard.
He's worried about it, dude. He's like hit me up 8 times today already.
There's nothing to worry about. Just like
He's
just
worried,
like,
not me. He's
he just
worried.
needs to relax himself and just let it happen because there's nothing he can do about it, right? If he fights, it's just going to hurt worse.
You might win the bet then.
He never took me up on that, so that way he has deniability either way. If he wins the bet that he did not take, he will claim that he won the bet, and if he does not win the bet that he didn't take, he will say he didn't take the bet. I know how it fucking operates.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Pretty good level shooters at that match normally, right?
This is only the second year, right, Hopkins?
It's the 3rd year, I think. There usually has been. I mean, it's all the Texas dudes, basically. They're a pretty big segment of the shooting population.
All right, guys. Today we're talking about what Hopkins wants to see at Nationals, which is very interesting for him and for us too. But before we do that, I've been such a negative asshole lately that I want to talk about something good and something that I like. And that's a play. I went to this club, I guess I got home like 2 days ago, but, you know, it'll air on a delay, as always. But anyway, I've been to this club, I think, like 5 times in the last 2 years, and it's been really interesting to watch it. The club I'm talking about is Richmond Hot Shots. Shout out to you California guys. And I'm not, by talking nice about this club, don't think I don't like some other club. I go to, I don't know, I visit 30, 40 clubs a year, quite a large number of them. A lot of them are great. But I want to talk about this one because I think it's kind of an interesting story. It's in the San Francisco Bay Area, a big population. A lot of shooters there. What I like about the club is there's a very sort of competitive vibe there. So, I mean, if I'm there on a Wednesday, I mean, invariably, USPSA guys are going to roll into the club and be there practicing. Which, Hopkins, have you ever been out to your club at like 1 p.m. on a Wednesday or whatever?
Yeah, there's no one there.
No
or there's
one there.
the dudes that are looking for brass.
Right. Okay. Well, at this club, there's usually someone there practicing. Someone, at least. Usually a few bays. If it's on a Saturday, they have organized practices, and you know, there's a lot of dudes there practicing. There's classes going on all the time. It's very, very active. There's a lot of people there, not just participating, but they're training to get better, which is something that I like to see. Also, you know, the core of the better shooters there travel to major matches, and there's kind of, I think there's been a conversation in the club about making the stages better. or more reflective of what they see at major matches. And whenever you have a conversation like that, I think two things happen at every club that has a talk about what the stages should be, or whatever, this need to be harder, more balanced, whatever it is. A lot of guys get pissed off about it, and they're like, fuck you, whatever. We're not interested in that. We want to do this, and so there's people there's a lot of hand wringing about it. But the other thing is the stages always get better. Always. I've never seen it be otherwise. I've never seen there be a conversation about what the stages should be and have that not result in better stages on some level. And that's what I've seen. I've shot their club match, I think, 4 or 5 times in the last couple of years, and the stages have gotten to be more interesting and pretty well balanced. So like a 6-stage club match has some really tough shots. There's like a hoser stage. There's a classifier. There's field courses with some options. It's a good match. As a result, their attendance has exploded. I think there was 140 entries or something like that in the club match I shot last week. Does that make your head explode, Hopkins?
There was no way our local club could handle that many.
There's no way this club could handle that many. So what they've started doing is they shoot a bunch of people on Saturday night, and then the rest people shoot Sunday. And there's still tons of fucking people.
Well, do they have ROs then on Sunday, or is it kind of squatted?
No, it's squatted. So
what I want to know more about is the organized practices. Like a group of the same 4 dudes go out and practice every weekend?
I think the way it works is to be a member of the club. I'm not 100% sure on this, and I'm sure somebody from that club will correct me in the comments, but I think to be a member of that club, you need to put in some number of work days. Or no, it's to be an RO at the club. You need to put in work days. The advantage to being an RO is you can go shoot by yourself.
Okay.
But to do that, you need to run the shooting line during the organized practices, right? So you have to show up on like a Saturday, maybe 4 times a year, something like that, and be an RO for a firing line during the practice. So that's how that works. And the reason they have the organized practice, I suspect, is that there's just not enough space that everybody would get their own bay. There just isn't enough.
That makes sense.
What I'm saying is it's a great club. They're doing it right. I like that. It's something that I like about USPSA is clubs like that. So that's what I have to say. Fuck it.
So you think more clubs should do that then?
Well, have a competitive vibe, guys training to get better, new people welcome, organized practices, have a conversation about stage design. Yes, more clubs should be like that.
How do they go about doing it?
Well, it's driven by the more active guys in the club, right? The guys that travel to major matches are the ones who are going to push to hey, let's make this, make our club matches more interesting, cooler, whatever. And kind of as new people come in, they kind of like the vibe. They're like, hey, people are interested in getting better. We're liking this. We want to get better too. And it kind of raises the level of shooting for the entire club. That's my theory anyway. I like that stuff.
Yeah, it makes sense.
It's kind of, to me, it's like USPSA, kind of as it should be at the club level. It's good stuff. Any thoughts on that, Nick, or should we move on?
No, I think it's about right. From what I can see, you basically, you're going to shoot what the people that are involved with the club want to shoot. So what does the match director really want to shoot? That's probably at least 50 to 75% of what you're going to end up with most of the time. So if you have guys that are in tune, that go to majors, that are interested in getting better themselves and are in tune with the sport, it's going to result in better club matches, no doubt about it.
Ben, what's the entry fee?
$20 if you're a member.
What if you're not a member?
$30.
That's actually lower than I thought it would be, but it works.
They could charge whatever they want, I suppose. They could make it $50 and they'd still, have really too many people showing up, or more people than they can handle.
Right.
Because it just doesn't matter. And I don't think it's a question of money. They don't need the fucking money. It's just, whatever.
There's a thing though that this is in the heart of millions of people though, right?
Oh yeah, you're never going to see numbers like this. Well, not anytime soon. You're not going to see numbers like this at KC.
Well, I just think that has to be pointed out that it's in the middle of San Francisco, right? Or it's on
it's across the bay, but yeah, it's in the area.
There's still millions and millions of people around there to add to the number, so I think some people need to think about that too. Like if they're going to be worried about getting a 140, 150 at a local.
I visited a club, 2 weeks ago. The place I was at had they averaged, I don't know, 12 or 14 people for their club matches. And
Did they do as good though?
As good as what?
Well, Richmond.
I don't know. I didn't shoot the match.
Oh.
But they averaged 12 or 14 people, and they were happy with that. And due to their geographical location, like that was a reasonable attendance figure. I mean, I personally would not be putting on the match at that point, but that's just me. I just wouldn't do it. I'd do like, fuck this. I'm just going to practice instead. We don't have enough people for this. It's just not worth the effort. But again,
it's like a big organized practice, though, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a club match. I don't view that as practice for anything, but I view it as a match. But hey, those guys are motivated. I mean, it all depends on your geographical area, who you have to draw from, what kind of vibe you've got. But that's a club that's doing it right. I like that. All right, should we move on, Hopkins?
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, so you wanted to talk about nationals for me. So it is time. I wouldn't be surprised if contracts are already signed for 2017 nationals. We kind of see the makeup for 2016 nationals. What would you like to see next year, Hopkins?
I personally, I've said this for a while now, is see a all-in-one nationals, and it should be the premier event that everybody wants to attend, that not everybody can, though, you know?
So if we're modeling based on years, you liked 2014 nationals the best of the nationals you've shot.
Yeah, so I've shot probably 10 nationals so far.
Well, you've done single stack.
I've done single stack.
Which in retrospect was dumb, right?
Well, I didn't like it at all. It didn't feel like, besides the division and guns and all that stuff.
Oh, I just thought just on the strength of the gun you thought it was dumb, but you didn't like it otherwise?
Well, it doesn't feel like nationals, you know? You get there, you shoot all in one day, and the people that shoot on Thursday are gone by the time the awards are there.
Yes.
What I heard, and the way they did prizes was pretty ridiculous that year, at least I went. There were so many people there day of, they convinced them just by group mentality, because they were chanting, to be if you're not present, you can't win anything, you know?
Well, that makes sense, yeah. So on Sunday when they're doing the awards,
yeah,
since you shot Friday, you don't get anything?
Yeah, basically.
That's cool. That's very sensible.
I mean, it depends on what you're going for, but it's
for
not
the,
what I
For
like.
the audio rip listeners, I have a shit-eating grin, if you can't detect my sarcasm. Whatever.
Yeah, so 2014 would be the model.
All right, and
I would want to go with.
You shot the Open L10 match last year as well, right, Hopkins?
Yeah, yes, I did.
Okay, and what was the beef with that? I mean, we've shot the combined or the combined-ish one in 2014 with as many divisions as they could get together.
I've shot back-to-back. I've shot standalone.
Yeah, you've done it all.
I just like it better. It should mean something, not just the match, you know? It should mean something. It should rival the World Shoot, honestly. We have the number of people here and the money. It should rival the World Shoot every year, even though that's every 3.
All right.
Maybe not with all the pomp and, circumstance behind the World Shoot. Yeah. The ceremony, the walking and all that.
But you think...
the countries. But it should... The match itself and, the awards and everything should rival it.
So what do you think about 30 stages, 10 stages a day type of a thing?
Thought it's fine.
I mean, it was 28 stages in St. George. We shot over 4 days, yeah? which I
Yeah,
thought.
I think it was 7 days, 7 a day.
I thought I thought 4 days. It didn't need to take that long, frankly. Like you know.
I didn't think it's a bad thing though either.
No, it's not. It's not horrible. It's just like if we're gonna do it every year, like 3 days would still be the longest match of the year, right? 3 days of shooting.
Oh yeah, easily.
And there was quite a bit of bitching about it being 4 days because guys have to take off work and all that. So, but I mean, I kind of
Well,
liked the 3 day. 3 days seems okay to me.
Well, if they do it that way once a year and like it's a thing where all the divisions are there, they're only doing that once instead of now where they have to do 2 days for single stack, 2 days for production, 2 days for limited, and then a whole week for limited and open combined,
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Okay, so you want to see it combined, Nick? I imagine you like 2014, the best of the 2 years you've shot.
Yeah, I mean, just the total package of the experience, I enjoy the combined better.
All right,
just because the event itself is so much bigger.
So, people listening probably don't really. If they haven't gone, they don't know maybe what you and Hopkins and I agree with you. I agree with you guys. What do you mean event? The event is bigger.
Well, I mean it's so you have everybody there, right? So you have everybody there. It's just huge. It's a huge event. I bet there was close to 1,000 shooters there all at one time, right?
Yeah.
Like you said, it's 4 days of shooting. It's enough time to get rest as well. So just the awards thing afterwards was really well done. The area is really awesome. I don't know. It just felt like you're at a national championship. I don't know what else. Honestly, I don't know what else they could have done better. Like I don't have really any real complaints about it. I thought it was great.
So is there any way? So let me play devil's advocate for a minute. So let's say that if you want to do the kind of the other end of the spectrum is the every division standalone or standalone-ish, where they do like single stack and then kind of piggyback revolve around that, but it's like it's separate-ish, but not really. It's like the same kind of thing, but they do it in one day because nobody's really wants to shoot it, and ditto carry optics or whatever. Maybe people would look at that and say, well, that's the reason that doesn't feel as cool is because of the execution of those events, not because of the core concept of putting it by itself.
I would say that I don't think that you can execute a single division match the same way you can execute a big match. Like it's not going to have the same level of like prestige.
Well, you're not going to have the resources either.
Yeah, I mean, it's not. You're not going to have as many shooters, so your pool of money to work with is smaller from the start, and you're going to have a harder time attracting, media and stuff like that. Honestly, and I think that we should care about that. I think the organization should care about that, about having a premier event that, they can point anybody to and say all the best shooters in the world are going to be at this one spot at this one time.
That would be interesting to ask Shooting USA.
Right.
If they'd rather have like all combined, where they can cover 4 divisions, and do 4 different shows.
Well, I mean, why not all 8 divisions?
Don't we only have 6 now, or how many do?
Well, there's some you're going to break off, right?
Like Hopkins.
Yeah.
UPC Nationals next year. There will be Carry Optics Nationals. We have 8 divisions. Done.
Okay. Maybe by then they'll kill L10.
Nope, they're not going to do it. We're going to have 8 divisions. It doesn't that's a separate conversation. I mean,
that would be a good way to find the competitive equity of the division.
Well, I mean, I've done some thinking about this. Like, nobody gives a fuck about really. I mean, aside from a few people like us, but I mean, most people like if their L10 exists at an area match, like it's every match, basically every match, but nationals, you have all the divisions there.
I think
right? I mean, it's like. Area 6 was
3 L10 shooters, I think.
Area 6 was notable in that it was an exception by not having carry optics, right?
Well, I think they would have had it if
they did. Yeah, I didn't even think about it till now, but yeah.
The division would have been approved for larger matches earlier. They had 3 L10, which didn't even make the division.
Right.
But
So
they did recognize that as a division. Like they had an
How?
all 10 category. Like I'm pretty sure in the results
People
they have.
shot it, but it wasn't enough for awards.
well, that
Like,
doesn't mean they didn't award the things. I don't know. I wasn't there, but
Pretty sure they didn't award anything for it.
all right. That's
that
fine.
would
If it
not
matters.
surprise me based on the match director's
Yeah,
attitude
like-
about Gary Optics.
But I think it if you tried to throw those kind of divisions into a combined nationals, you'd have the same thing, and it wouldn't be a
Then-
match, much less at nationals.
Well, then the question needs to be asked:
Well,
do they need to be
yeah.
divisions?
Right.
Well, I think
And
we've
that's
asked
what
that
we've been
question
over. Yeah.
plenty of times. we've
Well,
all
maybe they
had
need to
that
answer it then.
I'm just saying, as it is, there's no point in
doesn't
having
matter.
those divisions have to be broken off, or you're literally going to get nobody shooting them at a.
All right, here we
Well,
go.
but Nick, here's
What if we just didn't have nationals for them?
no. Well, that's one solution, Hopkins. But Nick, let me ask you this: like seriously, who cares? So if we don't break them off, just throw it into one event. So what? So the fuck what?
So
Oh,
we'd
I don't
have
think
maybe
any of us are
20
gonna
people
care.
shooting them.
Yeah, you're going to
Right,
have.
we have 20 people shooting them. A few
Right.
pros will break into those divisions to try and pick up soft wins. Like,
Yeah.
let's be honest, some
No,
people
somebody
shoot
will,
them.
yeah.
Okay, so what? I mean, so what? Does that matter? I mean, it's the same conversation that we could have about any other match. Does it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's no different. I mean, why do it differently at nationals than we do it elsewhere? Is my question.
I mean, personally, I don't care. I'm just saying, if your goal is to have some participation, you have to break them off.
This is not. I mean,
And if it's not, then
here's.
I mean, I could care less. It's
That-
just
I'm-
I assume that if they're trying to promote the division as being a real thing nationally, they got to
Here's-
have somebody at the nationals.
I
right?
have
not a
one
real
thing
thing.
I've heard
What's that?
is why they split off all the divisions. I've heard this, I don't know if it's true or not. Supposedly the top sponsored shooters, their companies wanted them to have a chance to compete for each national title.
Yes.
That's why I heard they were broken up.
That's the only reason I can think of that really makes any sense.
Right. I mean,
Do we need to do that though? Like, is that something we
That's
should?
not something I give a shit about.
Okay, I don't care either.
I mean,
I mean, people are going to shoot the division they either like or they think they're going to be able to do best in.
I suppose. I mean, it's the same. I mean, the question is, why is nationals different than Area 2 or Area 3 or whatever? Why is it different? I mean, at a fundamental level, it's not any different. It's the same thing. It's just a match, right? It may rub some people the wrong way to hand out a USPSA national champion title for a division that has like 15 people in it. That may rub people the wrong way, but I mean, is that any different than an area match title that also ultimately nobody will care about?
Well, national title means something. It should mean something.
Okay, maybe it should mean something, but under that set of circumstances, it wouldn't mean anything. Nobody would care.
Then do we need to have a nationals for it?
Well,
That's why
again,
it's
that to me
better.
strikes me as a separate issue. It's like, well, how do you want to break it up? So you like it centralized, as many fucking divisions as possible, yeah, Hopkins?
Yes.
I'm with you. I liked St. George. I thought they did a lot of stuff that was cool. More stages, bigger event. Every motherfucker was there. That was cool. The one thing that was the one division I feel that benefits the most from being broken off and putting it by itself is production. Unfortunately, so it's kind of bad for us.
Why you say that?
I don't know. I think it would challenge. Oh, it depends. Not if you have it on the West Coast. Though.
Well, I shouldn't say that. The division that benefits the most from being broken off is Lim 10. But production benefits a lot being broken off by itself.
I mean, Revolver could be argued about benefiting more.
I suppose production. Well, I should say production benefits a lot as far as we don't just get more participation. I mean, I should have more of a preamble to this. I think there's a distinction between participation and competition. So, for example, at Production Nationals this year, there will be Production Nationals followed by Carry Optics. I expect that because Carry Optics is a standalone, it's your only option if you want to shoot that. I expect participation to be higher than it otherwise would be. Competition,
Absolutely.
right? But I think that it might be a little bit deceptive as far as how much competition is there. So imagine for a moment this scenario. So if I take an open gun and I shoot it for 2 or 3 days, and I go to open nationals, me, like just not any guy, just me specifically. If I did this and I went in the match, I could say like, yep, I'm here to compete with Max and Chris and Casey and all those motherfuckers. That's what I'm going to do. I'm here to compete with those guys. But that's not really realistic, is it?
You're not really competing with them.
I'm not going to be competitive with them. No way.
They wouldn't even worry about you.
No, they would not, and they'd be smart not to, because I've only got 2 days. I could probably shoot that gun for 2 years and not be competitive with those guys. So, am I participating or am I competing? Now, I mean, some people might look at that and be like, "We're dragging over these top guys from other divisions. It's fucking awesome." Is that participation or is it actual competition? That's the question. I think it's a pretty easy one to answer. So a lot of times by breaking up divisions or doing back-to-back formats or weird shit like that, I think you bump participation numbers, but it's a little deceptive about how much actual competition there is. There was more than one sort of pro-level dude that showed up at production nationals with some with no training with their gun. I mean, essentially no training.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, you had 2 and 3 come out of guys that shoot other divisions primarily this past year, right? So there's obviously some guys there that are.
Well, no, you're talking about the exception rather than the trend.
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So.
Right.
I mean,
you're like
it worked out that way.
Like
that was
if
the
I
upside. Sustainable production nationals, right? The level of competition did go up. It really did. Right.
Right. The level of competition went up.
Yeah.
The level of participation went up a lot more.
Yeah.
You agree?
Right. But you had.
And that's why I say production actually benefits from being broken off by itself.
Right. So any
Benefits
division will to an extent.
And so, right. So we would lose sort of the competition. We'd lose a few of those guys to other divisions, but the event of nationals, of putting it all together, would I think be a better event.
Yeah, I think having a better event is preferable to, I think you're still going to have a high level. Everyone's going to be in their home division, right? So like the champion's still most likely going to come out of that division anyways. Like
probably yes.
So I think after experiencing them both ways, while I did think the higher level competition and standalone production nationals was cool, I think the larger event was cooler.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
I agree with you,
yeah,
but I mean I
one
think
positive for another. But.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just think it's important to kind of talk about the other side of that, which is kind of we don't like sort of like diluting the competition pool. And if I were king, everybody would shoot production all the time, and it'd be amazing. But that's just not the way it works.
What do you think is best for USPSA?
A big event.
I think the event also would be.
Like a big event, there's plenty of top motherfuckers there. And if you look at it this way, there's way more top shooters at that event than there would be if it were just like one division or so.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
They're all going to be there.
They're all there. Like everybody's there.
Yeah.
Everybody. So it makes it kind of interesting. Even if the people are broken off in different divisions, it's still a very interesting event.
Say fully agreed to this, would you have revolver and single stack there?
The only reason that you wouldn't is history and tradition. You see what I mean?
But you would want it there, though, if you could choose.
Single stack would probably be borderline.
Revolver probably would not exist, as it would make the numbers.
It would gut single stack, and as the thing that it is now, that a lot of guys in the Midwest where we live, they shoot single stack this time of the year, and then they drive to single stack nationals, and they have a grand fucking time. And
some do.
All right, and a lot of them bitch about the stages or whatever, but they go, and it's good for them. And I'm not out to take that away. Maybe the single stack classic was a thing before it was USPSA nationals. I don't see any reason to, not do single stack classic, whatever, do what the fuck you want. I think it makes sense to put it all into one event and then maybe try that, because when is the last time that was done? 2004, I think, before I was even shooting.
Everything?
Yes, I think it was 2004.
I think it was 2002.
Maybe, I don't know, a long time ago. So maybe it's time to try that shit again. I know that when we've gone to really big matches, like the World Shoot, and we're going to, you and I are going to visit some big matches this year. It's just going to be all the divisions at once, lots of top guys, a really big event, lots of great competition. You're going to meet lots of people.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that experience, and that's not something. I mean, it's more about. I think the format now is more about bumping up participation rather than, having the best event. That's my take on it. I'd like to see that. I would be amenable to some sort of a compromise. Maybe we do a back-to-back format.
That's still a lot of time, though.
It is, but if you do back-to-back in one spot, then maybe, like, for stage design reasons, you do all the iron sight guns, and then you do open,
all the
PCC,
optics.
and carry optics, like, after that, or whatever. I mean, you could actually tune up the stages then, so like those guys would get a better match out of it.
Yeah, I can see that. I would not be opposed to that. And supposedly back-to-back is like one of the only ways they've made money with nationals.
I don't give a fuck about that. I'm going to be honest with you. I don't care. No, seriously.
I don't think they should lose money.
USPSA,
I don't think they should lose money, though.
No, losing money.
And if they have to adjust the entry fee, they have to do it. Make it higher.
This is not a financial thing for me. I don't care. Like, just figure it out, guys. Like, you guys figure that shit out.
I'm sure a couple people would bitch, but come on, you're already getting on an airplane and renting a car and getting a
It's
weekend
the least-
hotel. It's another $50 on an entry fee, really.
My suspicion is that what is going to happen for 2017 is that we're going to have decentralized nationals located at different regions around the country, so lots of people will not have to drive to, or lots of people will have the ability to drive.
What if I can't drive to production? What do I do?
Well, then you'd have to fly. I'm not saying it makes any sense.
What if I don't fly or can't afford to fly? You got to wait till it comes back to the Midwest, or?
You'd have to talk to Mr. Foley about that. I'm just telling you what I think we're going to see.
I mean, so that's pretty much what we've had last year and this year.
Right, and I'll be honest about this. When Phil described this scheme to me, I thought it sounded like a good idea.
Yeah, well, when they first described it, I was only thinking about the competitive aspect. I thought it was awesome then. Like, okay, anyone who wants to take a shot at any division can then do that, basically.
Right, and
that's the upside, and I think that's cool. Just it wasn't as cool as I thought.
I have benefited from this myself because, like winning production nationals last year is an extremely prestigious title, right? Because of all those guys that were there. That makes it way better for me.
It was a super high level competition.
Right, and that's awesome, but I agree with you, Nick. I mean, this sounded good to me. I like the theory of it. Watching it in practice, it's not so great.
No, I mean, it was cool having that many great shooters in one division.
Yes.
I just wouldn't trade that for the bigger event.
Yeah.
Again, yeah.
Having done it both
but
ways.
With it by itself, it still had plenty of competition.
Yeah, it's not
like
it's not like it's a fucking
combined
pushover. It's not like it's a pushover, bro. It's not easy.
Yeah. None of the divisions were. In 2014, they weren't.
It's not easy to win a national title in this sport. I will tell you that.
Yeah. You know, if you had oh man, I'm just thinking about if you had PCC Open and Carry Optics together in the same nationals, that would be interesting.
That's what I floated. I mean, if they're doing it back-to-back format from a stage design perspective, it makes a lot of sense to kind of put those together. Regardless of what you think about any of those divisions, I mean, like, whatever. Those are the cards we've been dealt. I mean, fuck it.
You pull open out of the main handgun match, then you start to break it up a little bit. It's not really quite the same thing.
No, it's not quite the same thing. But if they do back-to-back, Nick, they will never put limited and open together. They're just not going to do that.
Yeah, they won't.
They will not put them together if it's back-to-back. So it's
So people are going to bail. Like you're not
Well,
going to have the same kind of deal with
No, it's
everybody
not
there
the
at the
same
same
kind of
time.
thing. It's not as cool. It's not what we're talking about. But I mean, it is. It's a compromise.
I don't know.
What's that, Hopkins?
Can they just get more shooters? Is that the only thing on a back-to-back compared to a single like week-long event? Is that the thing?
I don't. Truthfully, I'm not sure I know what the thing is. I mean, I think they're thinking about having more shooters. I don't really know why that's. I mean, it seems to me the easiest way to add more shooters is to add more stages, because you can have more squads.
Yeah, definitely.
But I don't know. Does anybody know what these guys are thinking at this point?
No.
No. Nobody fucking knows. And that's okay.
Now, which one would be easier to get the non-resetting on?
Combined, I don't know. I'm not sure. It's combined, it seems, but
Where shooters don't have to do any kind of resetting.
Right.
at least not while they're shooting, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. I doubt it matters. It's probably
All right.
equally both ways.
Well, I just wonder, like,
Really easy.
you do a
both ways.
2-day pre-match and a 4-day match. That's 6 days you'd have to be there. If you did back-to-back, you have to be there, and you had a shot on both. You'd have to be there 7 days.
They get different people for back to back. Right.
Not the RO staff usually.
All right. Well, people come in for the questions, guys. Should we move on to the questions?
Sure.
All right. First one's on reloads. I've been struggling with reloads. I have a hard time being able to insert the mag cleanly while also being quick. Is there a specific drill or practice I could do to help me make some gains in this area? And how much do fast reloads really matter? Nick, you're the training expert here. What do you think? Specific drills for reload speed.
So if he's talking about production, especially,
I don't know what he's talking about.
I don't think it matters on the division, does it?
Yeah, well, some divisions have reloads more than others. Maybe he's talking about revolver. Which
Yeah,
case,
answer that from a revolver standpoint, Nick.
in which case, he should buy a real
Yeah.
gun. We'll come back and talk about this.
So, occasionally I'll go through periods of time where I start, missing a bunch of reloads. And so what I do then typically is in dry fire, I just make sure and be a little bit more deliberate in making sure that I'm just looking it in, making sure I get a good grip on the magazine. And it may feel a little bit slower, but if you're doing it on the move and you're executing it correctly on the move, it's really probably not, would be my first thought on that. So I'm not sure if I'm fully addressing his question or not, but it's, I kind of go through periods where I feel like I'm doing the same thing, and I just kind of refocus on the fundamentals of making sure that I'm gripping everything correctly, looking it in, taking that little 5% of the what I feel is my top speed off to just make sure I'm mechanically doing it correctly, and just rep that for a little while until I'm back to feeling like I'm doing what I want to do.
All right. For dry fire, I like to do the reloads in halves. So if you're working out of the red dry fire training book called Dry Fire Training, it should be pretty easily identifiable in your book collection. Even if you're not working out of it, that's cool. But anyway, in that book, it is the micro drills in the learning drills section on reloads, the micro drills. So if you don't have it, that's cool. The first half of it is, dump the magazine out of the gun and bring a fresh mag up to the gun with a time limit of 6/10, and then another 6/10 time limit to seat the magazine in the gun, reacquire your grip, and get back out onto target. So those two drills seem to really help people, like specifically. And if I feel slow on my reload, those are the drills that I do. To answer the second part of your question, does it matter? It's like anything else. Yes, it matters, but maybe not as much as you want it to. So being able to reload consistently, when you're running around on a stage, and kind of get your reload done, consistently before you get to wherever you're going. So being able to get it done on the run, that's important. Other than that, it doesn't really matter a whole lot unless you're looking to move up in your classification. So a lot of guys, I mean, it's a pretty normal pattern. Like if you're A class and you want to be M or GM, normally you're going to look at the draw and reload time to move up. And you'll be just, a few tenths slow on that stuff. That's the normal pattern.
Shoot classifiers better, definitely.
Yes, to shoot classifiers better. I mean, if that's not important to you, it's not important to a lot of people. That's totally fine. Hopkins, any thoughts on that?
I can't really add anything to that. You guys both covered it. I was going to say go back to
I thought my
fundamentals.
answer was better. Mine was more specific and helpful. But yeah, Nick was good too.
I've done some of those micro drills as well, and I got to say, I don't know. I didn't find them.
That's because you were already so fast. You're so amazing.
Yeah, you need to get a timer that goes even lower than the regular one.
No, the one that's 6 tenths, if I make it 5 tenths and I chase that for a while, whoo, I get fast.
Yeah. Okay. So you start. So your first micro drill is to this point where you're about to start mag insertion.
There's such a thing as an audio rip that people don't see. Yeah. So yeah, what Nick is showing is he's air gunning with it pointed directly at his head, and he's trying to put a new magazine in it.
Revolver
is that about
reload.
right?
Revolver reload.
Revolver reload. Pointed at stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Let's move on to the next question. I've noticed when shooting, my strong arm's elbow is pointed more towards the ground than my weak arm's elbow. When I look at top GMs, both elbows seem to mirror each other. How critical is this to good shooting? Should I make corrections priority? First. You go, Hopkins.
Doesn't fucking matter.
Boom. But if it doesn't matter, why don't all the top GMs do it kind of similar-ish?
I don't know. That's your call. No. Why do they do it similar? I think he's probably just not looking. I'm sure there's variance in everybody.
Yeah, the couple guys that are cross-dominant seem to be a little bit less symmetrical looking, to me anyway, because that makes sense because they have to kind of position the gun to their non-dominant eye.
Yeah, that kind of makes sense. I mean, you're having to move it over to the left a little more than normal.
Yeah. Nick,
I don't see this making a difference at all.
Nick, back up Hopkins on this.
I would I'd want to get him to clarify the question if I had a chance. But when he's talking about where his elbow is pointing, is he also talking about how bent his arms are? So is he talking about?
I think they're really related, right?
Exactly.
So some guys have
than others. What I'm thinking is they're probably highly related. So if you got one elbow like pointing in a non-symmetrical direction from the other one, it probably means one of your elbows is significantly more bent than the other. And I would say that's probably not a good situation if it's. Because so when he says this kind of thing, I get in my head like cup and saucer kind of deal.
Cup and saucer Weaver stance?
Or the Jack Bauer thing where he's got one elbow locked out, one like super bent.
He kills people.
Right, yeah.
You ever been to BauerCount.com? Great website.
No, that's another movie, series I find really entertaining, but I'm not
really
trying to shoot based on watching that. But anyhow, yeah, so you know what I'm talking about, right? So if you're that kind of stuff is not optimal for recoil control. So if that's the reason your elbows are pointing different directions, yeah, in my opinion, that's probably a problem.
Well, I think the top guys do things pretty similarly. So what you want to do is stand square to the targets if you can. Hold the gun in front of your face. Don't hold your face in front of the gun if you don't like crouch down under the gun. You just hold the gun in front of your face and point it at the targets and hold it with just your hands. So stand square, bring the gun up, to where you can point it, but put it between your eye and the target. Hold the gun with just your hands. That's, more or less what all the top guys do, because it is simple and it is efficient. So if you're doing something that isn't that, it's probably not optimal. Does it really matter? That really depends on you. So if you're like really awful and can't hit anything, it probably makes more sense to worry about, trigger control and learning to hit targets than about this bullshit. But maybe this is a problem for you as well. I mean, it just depends on your level whether or not you want to make it a priority for you to fix it.
Well, one thing also to think about, your like support hand wrist is so cocked forward that it'll put the elbow in a little different position than the other one.
Yes.
That's all I had.
I love it, Hopkins. You're doing well.
Maybe a little bit.
Hopkins does good, right?
I think you should post some pictures or videos somewhere on the internet and get some
Oh,
feedback.
Jesus Christ. Yeah, go post a picture of
Yeah,
yourself
put it on
shooting
duty.
at duty. Yeah, go put that on duty. Hey, guys. Hey, guys, does this look good? Should I worry about my elbows? You do that.
Everyone there will be extremely helpful.
It will be helpful. Actually,
Well,
probably
it's
somebody
way better
would be.
than Enos because you'll either get a shit answer or a real answer, not somebody that doesn't know.
To be honest, he will likely get both, and he'll get called a faggot on top of it. So it's a win for everybody.
Well,
he will get useful feedback. We'll just have to wade through.
Gold miners don't get gold on everything, They have to dig for a little bit.
They get shit for most of it.
Exactly.
Oh, Hopkins, you do have a way with words, sir. Just when I thought that, you weren't useful, look at you. You come at you for the zinger. Well done, sir. All right. Well, great podcast, guys. Hopkins, I especially appreciate you coming on because you're on the road.
No problem.
That's nice of you. Hey, who's gonna sit in for us when we're both gone in Europe for like 2 weeks? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could do one in Europe on the road. We're gonna be together both times.
That's
Hotel's
true.
got Wi-Fi.
Does it? I'm not used to staying in hotels with Wi-Fi. It's gonna be weird.
Or doors that lock, right?
Or doors that lock. I mean, this shit is high speed for me. But I gotta pass it up because I'm staying with you.
You find the worst shithole, cheapest hotels you can possibly find. Right?
He's like, where's
no idea.
Where's the highest crime rate of this city? That's where I'll stay.
Well, the highest crime rate correlates really inversely with prices, so it's actually not a bad strategy.
Depends on its value. What do you value most?
Money.
Obviously, price is pretty high on your list.
Yes.
Life.
Safety's a little higher on mine than that.
I don't feel unsafe wherever I am. Maybe uncomfortable.
Never? Okay, well that's fine.
I don't know that I felt unsafe. Uncomfortable, I would say.
You got a bunch of 128 power factor ammo, so take care of anything.
Yeah, that would not be a good thing. That is a bad situation. So try and justify why you did that would not be good.
Oh no, that's one thing I've always thought about. What happens if a top level dude has to shoot somebody? Do the cops question why you emptied the gun? Why you emptied the gun in the circle small area?
I think depending on the circumstances, they would have an awful lot of questions for you, and you get to pay a lot of legal fees and all that stuff.
You think it would be worse because we are
there is nothing
very
good.
competent with the guns?
It's hard to say.
I mean, there have been top guys that have shot people, and I don't know if it was a factor specifically in those cases, but it's not. It wouldn't be very hard to paint me as a gun nut or you as a gun nut.
Oh, no, it would be super easy.
Right. It's look at this guy trains to... then where I'd be no, I don't train to kill people. I just kill cardboard. I don't care about...
It's like the Olympics, right?
I'm genuinely disinterested in shooting anyone or especially having anyone shoot at me. I'm not interested in this. I don't want to I want nothing to do with that shit. I like shooting at cardboard. I'm a total fucking faggot, to be honest. I'm just not into it. If people attack me, I'm get in a fetal position and just hope that it stops. I don't want anything to do with it. I'm not sure that'd be very convincing. But
I'm sure the other attorney would have something to say, but...
Well, hopefully they wouldn't have an attorney. You know what I mean? Maybe their state's attorney would be talking to Yeah, so I don't know. There's nothing good about... I don't know anybody that's been involved in that and had it be a positive part of their fucking life. So it's not good. We want to stay away from shooting people. Very bad. Anyway, that's it.
Sounds reasonable.
Yes, it's reasonable. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd probably agree with that.
Yes. Signing off now, motherfuckers. Stop broadcasting.